One of the major elements of Odyssey 16 is, of course, recognition. This is the first time that Odysseus reveals himself to a member of his household, and the encounter between Telemachus and Odysseus sets the terms for how recognition will work through the rest of the second half of the poem. The very beginning of the Odyssey, "Tell me, Muse, about a man," or the man, raises the question of how recognition works. Who is this man? What is it that allows us, or Telemachus, to recognise him? And what are the means by which identity can be asserted and confirmed? It's worth saying that in the Odyssey, recognition means narrative. It means telling a story. To stay with the beginning of the poem, who is this man? Well, he's the one who's polytropic, who's of many turns. He's the one who wandered far after he sacked the city of Troy. He's the one who saw the cities and got to know the minds of many people. The text doesn't say that that man at the beginning of the poem is Odysseus. We don't get his actual name for 20 lines, and we don't see him until book 5. That's 4 books later. Instead, we have to use the signs in that story to work out that we're dealing with Odysseus, to identify him. And that tells us something about how recognition is always a delayed story in the Odyssey. That we learn who people are by the stories they tell about themselves. And that also means there's a tension between what we as readers know, so in the second half of the poem we all know that Odysseus is back, and what those within the text know. People like Eumaeus or the suitors think they're dealing with a beggar. Now, one way to see those levels of knowledge in action is the famous simile that opens book 16. When Telemachus enters the hut of Eumaeus, he's come back from his trip to Sparta and Pylos. The swineherd stands up in amazement, kisses his hands, kisses his face, and cries. And then we get the following simile. As a father, with his loving thoughts, fondly greets his son, coming in the 10th year from a far-off land, his only son, his darling, for whom he suffered many sorrows. So then the divine swineherd wrapped his arms around Telemachus. Now, this is what's often called a reverse simile. It applies to Eumaeus, who is welcoming Telemachus kindly as a father, but it has obvious relevance to Odysseus, the real father, who has indeed come home after 10 years, who sees his only son before him and has suffered many sorrows on his way. Rather than recognising each other immediately, their reunion is delayed as Eumaeus kind of fills in for the father. We know that we're dealing with a triangulation of relationships between sons and fathers here, but it goes unnoticed for now by Eumaeus and Telemachus himself. Those overlaps of the relationship between Eumaeus and Telemachus and Odysseus and Telemachus continue throughout the first half of Odyssey 16. Telemachus calls Eumaeus Ata, Papa, Daddy, a kind of childlike word, 3 times in this book. Eumaeus uses similarly affectionate language for him. At the same time, the book uses the language of fathers and sons for Odysseus and Telemachus. So more than any other book of the Odyssey, Odysseus here is referred to as father 4 times, and Telemachus is referred to as the son 6 times. Now, all of this language of fathers and sons sets the stage for the recognition itself. After Eumaeus has been conveniently dispatched into the city to tell Penelope that Telemachus has returned, Athena summons Odysseus out of the hut and removes his disguise. When he re-enters, Telemachus notices that he's changed and at first thinks he's a god. And we'll talk more about that in a few sessions, about the changeability of Odysseus. But Odysseus assures him that he is his father, a phrase that he repeats twice. Odysseus explains the transformation is thanks to Athena and tells Telemachus that another Odysseus will never come here, but this one, such as I, after suffering evils and much wandering, has come in the 20th year to his fatherland. Now, I want to make 2 points about this recognition of Odysseus by Telemachus. The first is that it's been postponed, like all recognitions in the poem. When Odysseus embraces his son, he finally cries tears that he'd always held back before. So that first encounter between Eumaeus and Telemachus, Odysseus holds himself back until he can reveal himself to his son. The second point is that this is by far the easiest recognition in the poem. Although Telemachus is initially uncertain, he accepts who Odysseus is without any further signs. So there's no need here for the scar that Eurycleia uses to recognise Odysseus in Odyssey 19, or the trick of the bed that Penelope uses in Odyssey 23, or indeed the story of the orchard that he uses with his father Laertes in Odyssey 24. Telemachus doesn't know Odysseus in the same way. He was a child when Odysseus left. And what that means is the story of identity Odysseus can tell him is shorter than the one he's going to use later in the second half of the poem. So Odyssey 16 establishes a pattern for recognition that will be repeated throughout the second half of the epic. Disguise, both physical and linguistic, means that recognition is delayed, then secured through the stories that tell those within the poem who this man is, and that tell us who he is as well.